But yeah, something interesting happened. I think it was yesterday, right, or today, whatever it was. Uh, Zach Ertz has signed with the Detroit Lions, which I was a little shocked. I thought Sam Laporta was doing a fine job, but Lions decided to bring in Zach Ertz, and I'm going to go to Tina because Tina, being our legal person and our definite expert on the rules of the NFL, Tina, I was a little confused because I didn't think you could do this sort of thing, but can you clear this up for us?
Um, from what I can see in the rules, it's not against it. They can bring anybody in at any time. He has to start on the practice squad. And so essentially, it's kind of like what they did with Flacco when he came
Yeah,
into
right,
Cleveland. They put him on the practice squad, then they have to raise him up and then let someone go or move them down to the pass because it still has to be 53 men on the field. Now, what I did
right.
find out is because it is in the postseason. So when you come in on the practice squad, you can be elevated to the active list two
Uh huh.
times, two
Okay.
games. So he may stay on the practice squad and he'll just get
Ah,
elevated up for the game.
gotcha. Okay, so
So
that's how that.
it
Okay.
is something that can be done, but I don't like it. I'll admit I don't like it at all. Okay, it's kind of the analogy I have in my mind is if you've ever played fantasy football and the administrator didn't like set it so like bringing you make the playoffs and everybody else's people that didn't make the playoffs, all of their team players get to go in the pool, and all of a sudden
Right.
you're pulling out players and like, okay, now I
Yeah.
can win. This is
Right.
kind of how it feels to me. Now I get it. I get the Lions. They're hurt. Laporta is the only tight end they have. Well, they have two. They don't
They have
trust
two.
the
Yeah.
other one. There's a
Right.
big difference. So
Yeah.
it's not against the rules. They can do it. I mean, they wouldn't have splashed it all over social media if
Right.
the
Right.
NFL was going to be like, I mean, I dug through that thing. I know more about practice squads and who is a registered and unregistered free agent and all of
Right.
that. I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
it's got to be in here
Yeah.
somewhere, but it's nowhere in there. So
Okay.
I just think it's a little bit of an unfair advantage. But he didn't have a contract with any other squad.
Yeah. It was a free
He
agent.
has to be
So.
let go. He's a free agent. So yeah, this might be one that I think maybe the NFL next year might be like, tweak that
All right, well,
so
Delilah, what do you think? What do you think of this? I mean, Zach Ertz all of a sudden, again, sitting on his couch, going, "Hey, Lions gave me a call. Let's play some football, folks."
Yeah,
I only got
I'm not hating on him. I liked him when he was on Arizona, so I always thought
yeah.
I always thought he was actually was a big part of their whatever offense they had, which wasn't
yeah,
much.
sure,
But
yeah,
Plus
he
also
did,
part of the Eagles.
yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
he
they
would
see I was
get
going to
big
be. Yeah.
plays. He was at home with his wife. These are both championship. This is a championship couple. She has a few, Olympic gold
Oh,
medals,
right.
Right, right.
a FIFA World Cup wins. He's got a Super Bowl. So he was just chilling with his wife. And they were
Yeah,
like, hey, listen, so we have a shot at another Super Bowl, and our tight end is hurt. So makes sense. Why not take the
no,
chance? You
no. I mean,
know?
right. I get it. I
I
get why it
get
happened. Absolutely.
it.
But Handy, that was going to be my next point. Kind of. Um, he's a guy with playoff and Super Bowl experience. He's a guy who's won one. He's got a ring with the Eagles. How does this play in
Really
for
good.
Zach Ertz? How does this work out here, Anthony?
Um, I don't know because the games still have to be played, but I definitely think it makes for a great addition. Um, 10, 15 years ago, I would have said he's been sitting around for a couple of years. He might have a little dust on the to quote a country song that I hear quite a bit, dust on the bottle. But these new guys, this generation of guys are just coming off the shelf, ready to go. I mean, look at what Flacco did up until he flaccoed.
Right.
In this last
He
Right.
game.
flaccoed. Right in the
Yeah,
end, he flaccoed. We
yeah.
know.
Well,
Right.
he was apparently he was flocking, and then he flaccoed in the last game. So,
Right. Exactly.
um, but I think this could be a good. I think this could be a win-win for all parties involved. I mean, and all he had to do was, I'm pretty sure he just picked up the phone and go, "Hey, Jules, you won't guess who called me? I got a shot at getting a kicker on my pension if I win another ring. What do you think? Like, hell yeah, I need a sunroom on that new house.
Exactly.
There you go.
'Cause
Why
don't
not?
don't they get kickers to their NFL pension if they win Super Bowls? I know they get a kicker if they make the Hall, but don't they get additional monies to the pension if they win Super Bowls? Or am I?
That I'm not sure of.
All players, there is an incentive schedule and there is a postseason pricing. Again, I dug through the CBA trying to make sure I wasn't missing
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
So every player that hits the NFL, if they hit the Super Bowl, if they hit the playoffs, if they hit Pro Bowl, if they hit certain MVPs, all of those, they get additional money out of the postseason. They call it a postseason pool. And
Right.
my thing is I don't have a problem. It's not the problem with Dallas, with Detroit, or with Ernst doing what he can. My problem is it's the postseason, guys. This
Yeah.
is not during the season where you have 18 games.
Right.
And I get it. He was brought in to be a backup just in case something
Right.
happened.
Sure.
But would we be saying this thing if someone in the playoffs had their quarterback get injured and all of a sudden people brought in Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers if he was out there?
Right.
So to me, fine. It's been the way ever since the thing is if you clear waivers, you get to play. I don't
Right.
like it in the postseason. That's my
I
point.
got you.
At this
Okay,
point,
fair
we're
enough.
down to 4.
Yeah.
It should be just the 4. I kind of talked with Nick about this. What this reminds me of is when Coach McDaniels got fired from the Denver Broncos.
Right.
He ended up being a consultant
Yeah.
for the Patriots and was up in their booth during the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's an unfair advantage. That's the only
I
thing
get
I
this.
see with it is being an unfair advantage.
No. I mean that's a
So,
fair. I mean it's a fair point.
I
We'll see.
I know I'm in the minority on this one, but I just don't agree with it. So
We won't be talking about it again unless Zach Ertz catches a game-winning touchdown in the game this
Exactly.
weekend, and then everybody will go, "Oh my God, you see what?" Right. So we definitely will be paying
Yeah.
attention to that. We'll talk about that game later on.